How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric, and welcome to Out of the Groove. Today we have a very special episode planned. Jordan Anderson, driver/owner of the number 3 truck in the NASCAR Truck Series, joins me today for a quick interview. He's been doing a lot of really exciting new things lately, so it was really great to get to sit down and chat with him for a little bit. So hope you guys enjoy the interview with Jordan Anderson. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Out of the Groove. This week, I am very honored to be joined by Jordan Anderson, Truck Series driver. A lot of people may not know this, also team owner. I mean, I'm pretty sure you changed the tires on the pit stop too, if you could, honestly. But a man of many talents, a man of many hats. How's it going today, Jordan?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on. Always great to catch up with you, and it's going to be cool to share what we got going on for this year.
Yeah, this is, I feel like the Truck Series this year, honestly, Truck Series always puts on like great racing. I feel like everyone loves the Truck Series, but I don't know, this year there's some new teams involved. I feel like the competition in the Truck Series is going to be just even better. I feel like it's going to be very exciting. What are you most excited about for this Truck Series season?
Yeah, man, there's no doubt. I mean, a lot of new teams are coming in. A lot of teams running part-time, 3/4 of the schedule, some new full-time teams coming in. And I think out of the top 3 series between Cup, Xfinity, and Truck, I think Truck is going to have some of the biggest car counts this year. I think they're already saying 43, 42 trucks for Daytona, so that's wow. 10 guys potentially going home. So going to be a really stout field down there. But we had a big week here in Statesville at our new shop. We announced on Wednesday that we moved into the old front row shop here right off Highway 40. Big day for us. So what we're basically doing is we've partnered up with AM Racing, the 22 truck of Austin Wayne Self, who this time next year is going to be my brother-in-law. Him and my sister are now engaged. So
there you go.
We're keeping the family involved, but his team and my team have been close the past couple of years, and we knew we needed a little bit more space. We knew we need some more resources. So we said, hey, let's just go in this building together. We've got our team, the 22 truck team, and then Wintron, which operates part-time the truck and ARCA series. And got a full fab shop here. We've got a full paint booth, a chassis dyno, a pull-down rig here. So it's basically 3 small teams are pooling all their resources together to hopefully put the best product we can on the racetrack. And it's been really cool. There's a lot of really good synergy in the shop. So, you know, our idea is to kind of act as teammates this year. So I've never really had that in the Truck Series, somebody else to go to bounce ideas off of, to share setup notes with. So I think from that aspect, it's going to be a really good opportunity for us to start off not only 2020 on a really high note at Daytona and run good, but hopefully keep that momentum rolling through the whole season.
Definitely, yeah. I saw that event y'all did. Looked like you had a bunch of fans out as well. That looked like a really cool way to kind of introduce everyone to the new shop. So how did that deal come together? You said you kind of had a relationship with Austin Wayne Self and everything for a little while there, but how did that finally come together and turn into this new project?
Yeah, we tried to do something like this back at the end of 2018, and we just kind of ran out of time, so we knew we wanted to do it. And here in the Mooresville, Statesville area, warehouse and industrial space is hard to come by because Lowe's has their corporate headquarters here. So every time a big warehouse or space that'd be suitable for a race shop comes in the market, there's always one of those Lowe's vendors that scoops it up. So we found a couple of places, and they went off the market, and it just kind of was this cycle. We wanted to find a shop that would work well for us, that could be suitable for a race team. And this place is nice. I actually have an office here, so that's kind of nice, kind of getting organized here at the shop. We've got a beautiful lobby with the trucks out in there right now. But Austin and I have been friends. I think my sister and him started dating back in 2016 and been friends with him and his family ever since. And his dad's a straight-up guy, a lot of integrity the way he runs his business. And we knew there was opportunity for us to work together to try to make something out of all this. And I think what you're going to hopefully see is, by us pulling our resources, it's going to take us from being like a 10th to 15th place truck to hopefully get that last little extra bump to go up there to start competing against the big teams, the GMS and Thor Sport and KBM, and give those guys a little bit better run for their money.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I think that's going to hopefully be a whole lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
So looking ahead this week, I know Daytona's coming up the off season. I know NASCAR has an infamously short off season.
I'm like, we're already going to Daytona.
I feel like it's
Miami.
It's got to be even shorter for you because you're handling all this sorts of stuff in the off season. I'm sure a lot of other drivers maybe don't have to worry about. So already at Daytona. But what are you most excited for? Looking forward to this weekend?
Yeah, man. Just probably honestly getting back into a routine of getting to go to the racetrack, and it's something we actually joke about. It's sometimes nice to get to the racetrack and go do practice and qualifying because NASCAR makes you leave. They make you leave the garage area. It closes and you can't work anymore. So you have to go back to the hotel room and you can actually sleep and get some rest. But I'm looking forward to getting down to Daytona. And, they changed the truck schedule up this year. We still have 23 races, and they actually did a bunch of changes across the board. So 23 races, still the same normal schedule, but they've actually moved some things around. Miami no longer is our season finale. It's the 5th race of the year. We're going to Daytona straight to Vegas back to back. They moved Atlanta a little bit further back in the schedule. They took Martinsville off our schedule in the spring. They kept the fall race and they replaced it with Richmond. I'm a big fan of that. I love Richmond. I got to race there back in 2014 in a K&N car, and really, really fun track. So I like that. The owner side of me likes it because you don't tear as much up at Richmond as you do at Martinsville. But, my biggest thing is we've got some consistency going on with our team. We've got the Baumried Automotive Group with John Baumried. He was here at our press conference on Wednesday. They signed back on board with us. They're actually stepping up their support even more to help us out. We had Lucas Oil came back on board, had Capital City Towing, the guy that provides the tractor for us that pulls the trailer. Everybody always they're like, why don't you paint the tractor to match your trailer? Well, there's a story behind that. I own the trailer, but the tractor actually belongs to this guy, Joel Black, out of Columbia, South Carolina. He gives us a fuel card and a tractor to pull it all year. And it's a huge blessing to have that for us. So cool little backstory there. But, I'm just excited about getting the season underway. Wally Rogers is back as my crew chief this year. The new shop, we've got some new crew guys here. One of our crew guys was at Front Row last year. Another guy started with us this week that came from Stuart Haas. So we're pulling some really good resources from some other sides of the garage area that I really feel like is going to elevate our team. And, we're still way, way smaller than a lot of these big guys, but, we're trying, like I said earlier, use that power in numbers to share some resources and work smarter, not harder. We got to be smooth and nimble. And the new truck that we're building to take to Daytona, we actually bought from Richie Waters. It was a KBM truck that they built back in 2017. So, a lot of hours and money has gone into this Daytona truck. So we want to go down there and hopefully run good and be smart with it and really start our year off on a good foot, because you really kind of whatever you come out of with Daytona can kind of set the tone for your whole season. So I'm just excited about getting back behind the wheel and getting the season going.
Definitely. And I've heard you have a new sponsor for Daytona this weekend as well. When are we going to get to see a paint scheme reveal for this truck?
Yeah, so we got the press release to be going out this afternoon. Some exciting things that we've been working together with some guys from Pole Position Magazine, the guys down in Florida. We've been working with them really closely. Got some exciting things lined up, not just for Daytona, but for the rest of the year. So I think you and I, we might need to get together when it's time to unveil this paint scheme and maybe do a little something on Twitter and let everybody see what we got shaping for Daytona. What do you think?
I'd love to get involved in it. I want to see it. I'm excited to be one of the first ones to see it too. So that sounds great.
So I can tell you this. I'm trying to think back in all my paint schemes that I've run in the Truck Series since 2014, 101 races. I've never had a truck with orange on it.
Orange.
And so we're going to have orange and flat black. So for all you guys that are listening, think 007, that paint scheme from last year, with a big splash of orange on it. So give you guys a little idea what we got coming. It looks really good. I'm excited about it.
That's awesome. I just did a video this week where I was looking at a bunch of Cup Series paint schemes for this year, and I didn't notice orange and black must be in this year, because there are a good amount of teams that have different variations of that. So I'm excited. Throw yours into the ring here, because those were some of my favorites that I was looking at the other day. So this sounds like it's going to be a very pretty NASCAR season, I guess.
It is, man. It's so cool. I mean, to be able to be involved with partners that like stuff to look good and give me a little bit of my flair, how we have our stuff to look. Always been able to kind of have the creative freedom to design our own paint schemes and have our stuff look the way it does. And the fans have always loved it. I mean, the 007 paint scheme, I designed that in our shop at like 3 o'clock one morning, like sitting in Photoshop, like trying a bunch of paint schemes and design stuff. And it's always so cool talking about paint scheme stuff. So many guys from iRace hit me up on Twitter wanting to recreate some of our schemes, and like I'm sending them Dropbox links to the EPS files and vector files, and they're like recreating the stuff, and they're like, oh man, I've never gotten this stuff before.
Yeah,
so
you're giving them the real deal there.
Yeah, it's cool to connect with those guys that way, because every time I see somebody post a video of them running my paint scheme or something like that is always pretty cool. And I mean, even like I got some of my my die cast behind me. This was actually the one that I ran in Phoenix right here, the ghetto truck. This was actually done by Jack Drucker up in New Jersey. If he's listening, don't get mad at me. I think he's 15 years old, and he did this custom die cast here, and like it's killer. And he got all these files from me, so it's always cool to see
That's awesome.
What guys do with those things and get them involved in what we have and be a part of the journey.
That's awesome, yeah. Well, I do want to ask you a few kind of more general Truck Series questions. You talked about earlier how this year's going to be different. They got a new schedule, some schedule changes here and there. I also want to ask you, because you're not just a driver, you're also an owner, so I kind of want to get both perspectives here. They also revealed kind of a big rule change for just a few of the standalone races. They're kind of effectively getting rid of live pit stops at a few races in the Truck Series this year. From your perspective, what do you think about those changes? I mean, it's very detailed, more detailed than what I just said, but it'd be too difficult to kind of talk about all the changes and all the specifics right now. But kind of in a nutshell, what are your thoughts on those types of changes? Do you think NASCAR is kind of heading in the right direction here?
Yeah, the big one that they've done recently that comes to mind was back in 2018 when they introduced the Gilmore motor. That was a huge rule change and introduction to a new motor that leveled the playing field for everybody. I mean, the fact that you've got a team like KBM and ThorSport and GMS, and then you can put, me and all these other smaller teams like Austin's team here that now have the same motors as everybody else. You can kind of scratch that thing off the list that what these guys are spending compared to us. You can't buy a better Elmore motor. Everybody has the same motor. So leading up into this year with the new pit stops, I think that's where NASCAR's done a great job, because at Iowa, Gateway, the road course at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, the Mosport track up there, and then Eldora, they're going to the controlled pit stops. And even the way that you got to look at it is where we were really getting hurt last year was like Homestead, for example. We came in 11th, we came out 22nd, and it's like a place like Homestead, it's hard to make that up on the racetrack. And it's going to be a cost savings implementation for us. And I think what it's going to really do is not so much save a lot of teams money. It is going to save a little bit of money, but it's going to level the playing field out a little bit more. These bigger teams, they were spending even more money than we were, and getting like Jimmy Johnson's pit crew or Kyle Busch's pit crew, and it's like I'm getting guys that they don't even pit crew. Actually a lot of times last year we would have guys that were road crewing a cup car, not pit crewing. They were working on cup cars, and they would come over and pit crew my cars. So, I think that's where you're going to see it. It's going to be big for teams like us. Is I'm going to go out there and drive and hopefully come in the pits 10th, 11th, 12th, and we're going to come out in that same spot. So at a place like at Gateway and Iowa, that's going to be really big for us. They've also added 2 more spots to the playoffs. You saw 8 this past year. They're bumping it up to 10. Which is similar to the Xfinity Series is 10 too, I believe, right? Or is it
10 I think it's 12. It should be 10, honestly, but I think it's 12.
So I think you look at last year in the Xfinity Series, guys like Ryan Siegs from the smaller teams that were able to get in recent years. I think you're going to hopefully see some more of that in the Truck Series, where teams like ours or the AM Racing here, some other small teams may be able to get a couple good finishes and slide into the playoffs there. So that's going to be exciting to see. And another big one that I think is really cool that I'm excited about is the doubleheader at I gotta get the name right, Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. It's a mouthful, but they have a doubleheader with us with the IndyCar Series. So just like we have at Texas this year, we're gonna be at Gateway on Friday with the IndyCar Series on Saturday, which is cool for everybody in the Midwest because you can make that this big weekend trip to come out there and see some trucks and IndyCar racing. So, with Bommarito and his St. Louis connection, I think that's going to be a really fun weekend for us. But, all the things that NASCAR is doing, I'm a big advocate for. And they've even talked about for 2021 moving towards bump stops and bump springs for the front end. So right now we're using these big 32 and 3,400 pound springs that sit in these expensive helixes that you got to get the timing just right. And it basically takes sometimes 4, 5, 6, 7 hours on the pull down rig to get those springs and helixes to act how you really want them to. Well, the bump springs are going to basically act like what the Cup cars and Xfinity cars have, to where you can run almost the same 2 front springs everywhere, and you're just changing the bump springs and the shock shaft. So a little bit more on the technical side, but I think in the long run, if they do implement that next year, it's going to help teams like mine be able to keep up with, as things change like the big teams do.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of these changes, they must be doing something right, because now this year they've, again, adding more competitive and more just solid trucks. I feel like it's a good thing they expanded their playoffs, because I think there's realistically 18 to 20 trucks that could contend for playoff spots this year. Whereas, I feel like in the Xfinity Series, there's only like 10 or 12 really competitive cars. Cup Series is the Cup Series. It's still doing its thing. But it's just, that's why I think Truck Series this year, there's going to be a lot of drama from start to finish. So that's what I'm most excited about.
It's going to be all good for everybody watching. We just got to make sure we were in some of the drama last year with a couple of drivers, and I'm like, man, I just want to stay in our lane and do our thing. But I really feel like from a competition standpoint, we have definitely worked really hard to step our game up and have made a lot of decisions to try to put ourselves right there in the middle of some of those battles. And, we want to be the best of the smaller teams. We want to be there to position ourselves to where if some of those bigger teams do have trouble, that's when you can really capitalize. Sorry, I got my phone going off. Like to put this thing on.
It happens to me all the time.
But I think we've really positioned ourselves in a good spot to be able to capitalize on some of those opportunities when the bigger teams do have trouble to come in there and do that. And I look back on last year, we had like the race at Texas when we tried to put a pass on Todd Gillen for the lead and,
right.
and ran up front. Or Michigan, we finished 4th in the second stage. In Pocono, we ran, top 10 all day. We go back and look at those races last year. We had a lot of really good speed that was just huge for us. Like I think Pocono, we came in after final practice and we were 4th on the board. And Pocono, you get ready to turn down pit road and you can see the scoring pile on there. And I'm like, man, is that right? Like, are we 4th on the board? Like I was so stoked about that because that's a big deal for us. So if we can just take the methods and things that we did on those weekends and be able to kind of duplicate them more often next year, that's what we're really trying to do. And we've added, like I said, the 2 guys that we've added on our team this year are going to kind of help us get a little bit further along. We're going to be prepping for races down the road, not be so last minute this year, and really be able to have time to focus on the details because, this sport is so much about people. You got to have good people behind you that believe in your team and what you're doing, but at the same time that really focus on the details and make your race cars as good as possible. And the crew that we have and the guys that are working for our stuff is really what has me very excited about this year because they're all kind of old school racers. They're not. This isn't really a job for them. They love the sport and they love what they're doing. We still drive to. I think we drove to every race but Vegas last year. So. A lot of hours in the Sprinter van riding up and down the road. And I tried to drive the hauler last year and I don't have my CDL yet, so I'm not trying to go to jail anytime soon for driving a vehicle illegally on the road. But, it is so cool to see all that we've been able to step up. And, here at our shop, I've got our new rig sitting outside, and right beside it, I've got my old gooseneck and the dually sitting right behind it. And so it's definitely a humbling moment every time I drive onto the property here and see both of them side by side. And remember, it wasn't too long ago back in 2017. I was working in a 1,500 square foot shop, probably smaller than like a double car garage with no heat and air with one truck and a couple motors. So to go from where we were then to where we are now, it's kind of like NASCAR Thunder 2004 career mode, as we keep progressing and getting better bodies and better motors and better pit crew and better guys. It's just cool to see that progression really evolve over time and to see the success and support that we've had from people all around us. And it's just so many great people are behind our team and make this thing a reality.
Yeah, you guys have definitely been one of the best stories I feel like to follow in NASCAR the last few years, and I hope 2020 continues to just progress the way every other year has been. But thanks.
Hopefully we'll get to see some more races. I know what race did we see at last year? Was it Bristol?
I was at Bristol, Talladega. I made it to Miami at the end of the year as well. I'll be at the whole West Coast swing this year, so
we'll see you at Vegas.
There you go. Yeah, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Maybe you can come hang out at the roulette table, and we'll put a little bit on number 3 on the roulette table. We'll see what it rolls.
I'd love to. That sounds like fun, man. All right. Well, thanks a ton, Jordan, for coming on and chatting with us for a little bit. Hope everyone in the comments enjoyed that quite a bit because I know I certainly did. Always a fun time to talk to Jordan, have him on the channel, and we'll have to see you a lot more this year, man. Good luck.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate it, man. Looking forward to seeing you in Vegas, having you at some more races. I know you got a lot of cool stuff planned for this year, too. So just as you're excited about what we have going on, man, I follow you on Twitter and YouTube. So looking forward to seeing what all you got up your sleeve for this year. And it's so cool. You do such a great job showing a lot of the behind the scenes and the commentary on stuff. So we're excited. Like I said, we drive a lot of these races, so I watch a lot of videos and stuff on YouTube. So excited to see you keep putting out some cool stuff as well.
I appreciate it. Thanks a ton, man. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, you got it, man. Later.
Well, there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, a big thank you to Jordan Anderson for coming on and chatting with us for a little bit there. Remember to subscribe if you're new to the channel. We talk about NASCAR all through the week, every week throughout the entire year. And sometimes, when we're lucky, we have actual stars from the series itself join us and talk to us. But subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, all that great stuff. But yeah, that's all I've got for this one. Should have another video up tomorrow. I'm waiting on a package, and once I get that package, I'll have another kind of one-off video in the works as well. So stay tuned for that. I will see you guys very, very soon. Have a good weekend, everyone. Racing is back. ARCA's tomorrow. Oh my goodness.